All right, folks, today we're talking about one of the most ridiculous WWF promotional tie-ins of all time, the 1989 No Holds Barred special. Now, before we even get into the contents, let's state the obvious. This thing is only 14 pages long. The WWF promoted this movie like it was the most important thing to ever happen, but when it came time to make a magazine about it, they couldn't even fill 20 pages. So you better believe we're going to stretch this thing out more than Hogan hulking up in the third act. The front cover screams late 80s WWF. Hulk Hogan is ripped larger than life face to face with Zeus. Big, bold lettering reminding you that this isn't just a wrestling movie, this is a fight for survival. Inside this magazine is pure WWF marketing hype. Hulk Hogan's first major movie role? Check. A dramatic battle between good and evil? Check. Behind the scenes details on the making of the movie? Absolutely. Actual meaningful insight? Let's not get crazy. This wasn't just about the movie. This was Vince McMahon demanding that everyone believe Hulk Hogan was Hollywood's next big action star. So, let's break down what's actually in these 14 pages of WWF spin. The first major section of this magazine is dedicated to hyping up Hulk Hogan as a legitimate action star. The article paints Hogan as the total package, a hero in the ring, now a hero on the big screen. A man who can flex and fight, but also show emotion. Someone who trained harder for this movie than for any WWF match. This article is basically saying, hey, he's not just a wrestler, he's a real actor now, he's a leading man. He's Hollywood's next big thing. Of course, Hollywood never actually saw it that way. But in 1989, WWF was dead set on making us believe that No Holds Barred was just the beginning of Hulk Hogan's film career. The magazine lays out the plot of the film like it's some kind of cinematic masterpiece. Hogan plays Rip, a beloved wrestling champion. Brel, a ruthless TV executive, wants to control him. When Rip refuses, Brel creates his own underground battle of the tough guys to take him down. Enter Zeus, an unstoppable force of destruction. And let's just pause right here. Because if you're reading between the lines, you might notice something hilarious. As subtle as Vince's #1 single stand back, this movie isn't just about Rip versus Zeus, it's Vince McMahon writing his own war against Ted Turner before it even happened. Brel equals Ted Turner. Rip refusing to sell out. Hogan rejecting Turner's money, which he totally didn't do in real life. Brel setting up his own wrestling league to destroy Rip. Sowers Turner buying JCP to create WCW to compete with the WWF. Except in real life, Turner actually did buy Hogan 5 years later. So, in a way, this magazine is basically Vince McMahon screaming into the void, Hulk Hogan will never sell out. Which, of course, we all know aged like milk. This magazine builds up Zeus as the scariest villain in wrestling history. No speaking, just growling. No selling, just destruction. No logic, just chaos. It hypes him up as a real-life unbeatable monster, which is why Vince had to bring Zeus into the ring. For real. This magazine treats Zeus like the final boss of pro wrestling, even though he never actually wrestled a real match on his own. His in-ring work made Giant Gonzalez look like Bret Hart. His entire wrestling career lasted about 5 months. Still, in 1989, this magazine made you believe Zeus was the most dangerous man alive. And if you were a kid, you totally bought it. The magazine covers how the movie was made, giving us the usual Hollywood-style behind-the-scenes hype, filmed in Atlanta, Hogan doing his own stunts, designed to be more real than wrestling. But you know what's conspicuously missing? Any mention of the most famous scene in the entire movie. Rip pins a goon against a limo, shakes him like a Polaroid picture, and demands, "What's that smell?" And then the guy, trembling in terror, mutters the legendary response, and they don't even mention it. They want you to believe this is a serious movie, but we all know this film peaked with a grown man soiling himself on screen. And while we're at it, where's the love for Joan Severance? She was Hogan's love interest. She added more emotional depth than Hogan did. And let's be honest, She was the real reason some people rewatch this movie. Yet, in this magazine, she gets barely a mention. A true crime. So what have we learned? WWF hyped this movie like it was WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan was supposed to be Hollywood's next action hero. Zeus was treated like an indestructible monster. Brel was 100% Vince's shot at Ted Turner. Joan Severance deserved better. And WWF refused to acknowledge that the most iconic part of this movie is literally a poop joke. But the biggest takeaway? This magazine is only 14 pages long. At least they threw in some merch ads in the back. Because let me tell you, I really wanted that WrestleMania 5 watch. If you liked this deep dive into the No Holds Barred special, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And if you want early access to From the Pages, hit that join button. Until next time, keep your magazines mint. And remember, when life gets tough, just ask yourself, what's that smell?